Welcome to the podcast, The Whole and Complete Woman, where we provide practical tips and strategies for achieving your health, wealth, and relationship goals and desires. Yes, I said desires because God does not put desires in our heart just to tease us. So it's important to me that you are empowered with the tools and resources to not only fulfill your goals, but to create a life you love and create a legacy because the people who come after us, they are depending on us to pave the way. So I congratulate you for being here. Not only will today's content help your future self, but also those that come behind us. And that looks different for everyone, which I love. So let's go ahead and dive into today's topic. So today I have Angela here with me. Hello, Angela. Oh,
Hello, Dr. Newsome.
so excited to have you here. So, Angela at one point was a client of mine, and then throughout time and working together, she actually started working with me as one of my health coaches. So, she helps the women that come to us. She is their accountability and support coach. And I absolutely love having Angela on my team. She has been a huge blessing and I'm so excited for you to get to meet her and talk to her today. Those of you listening for the first time, who I am is I'm Dr. Alicia Newsome. I practice functional medicine. And what I do is I work with women struggling with hormonal imbalances. And I help them find out exactly what's going on inside of their bodies and resolve those issues without drugs or surgery. So that's just the quick snippet part of me. But today we're going to dive deep into what I do and how I help people. And we're going to have Angela ask me the questions that you are really wanting to know about me and the work that we do and the things that we provide. So, Angela, I'm going to go ahead and pass the mic over to you.
All right, let's start. Let's start. What made you decide to become a functional medicine and lifestyle physician?
So, that's a really good question. And I think back to this day where I was in the bathroom and I was bleeding, and I was bleeding profusely, and blood just kept coming from me. And at the time, I knew what was going on, but it was so intense. I was really scared. And what was happening was I was giving birth to what would have been, at that time, my 17-week-old child. I was having a miscarriage. And it was something really unexpected. It was something that was a very painful experience in my life. And even after everything passed, I was still bleeding. It was the middle of the night. My husband was gone traveling for work. So I was there by myself. And I called my mother in law and she rushed me to the hospital because I was still bleeding so much. And time passed. And this situation really caused me to pause. At that time, I was working for a very high profile government agency and working on a really important project that was helping people globally across the world. And although I was doing work, and supposedly like good things, it wasn't what my heart desired for me to do. It wasn't what lit me up. It wasn't what brought me joy. And I was really running my body into the ground at that point in time. I was going, going, going. I was traveling every single week. And this was during a time where people were not traveling as much, but I was on a plane every week, going places. And I was doing a lot to my body and a lot to my health. And there was a lot going on with my hormones as well. And I had spent the last several years working in this industry. I was in the pharmaceutical industry and I worked on over 5 trials that received FDA approval. And that's something that does not happen in many people's careers at all to even work on one. But it seemed like just this path that I kept going on and the contracts and the work that I was doing, I was always on these trials. So I worked on trials, cancer trials that have been approved, endometriosis, fibroids, and also some of the things that happened along the lines while COVID was going on as well. So for me, I had this very inside look of what was going on with the current things that were under research and the things that were possibly going to market to provide for issues that were for women that were dealing with hormonal issues as well as chronic health issues as well. So I have this like inside look at things. Okay. So there I was at this point doing very, very well in my career. And before I kind of took that direction with my career, what I did work in private practice. I had my own private practice and I would do some functional medicine in my practice, but it was very difficult to do just the way patient flow was. And I really didn't have structures in place because when you do functional medicine, you've really got to be able to be with people and their lifestyle and what's going on in their lives and help them make major changes. And you don't typically have that um, time freedom to do that when you're in private practice. You know, patients are coming in, they're going out, you have other patients coming in right behind them. But I always said, and part of my story of leaving private practice was that I was in a very volatile marriage and going through a divorce. I was a single mom and not doing well financially. And my one of my friends directed me towards moving into research. And I love research. I love data. I love numbers. So I did that, and I did very well with it. I had a business doing it and was doing very well financially there. And I had always told myself, once I hit this like level financially, I'll go back and do what I really love, which was functional medicine. And I didn't. I just kept going. It was like I never wanted to get myself back in the position of being in survival mode, but I didn't realize I was kind of stuck in it at that time too. Like I was still stuck in this grind of going, going, going and building my career. But having that miscarriage really caused me to pause and look at my life and really look at the type of, where I wanted to be with my profession, what I was doing with my family, the time that I had with my kids, and what was going on with my health as well. So I just stopped. I'm the type of person that I put in like 6 week notice, maybe even 8 weeks. And I make sure that everything is passed off. Do you need me to train the next person? Make sure that everything's in order. And I literally just stopped. I was like, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. That's how hard that hit me. And it was really a blessing. I did not give birth to the child that I intended to give birth to, but I gave birth to what we know today, of the company that I have, and just being able to help women, and all the things that I've been able to create from them. And since then, I've had another baby, which is my rainbow baby, who I absolutely love. And we may have a few more. We'll see. Um, but it's been a blessing. So I've been doing this for many years. And my time has been a mixture of working on the inside of seeing what's going on with patients and volunteers and all of those the women that are dealing with endometriosis and fibroids from a different perspective, where they were maybe looking for drug treatment, and then also working with women who are looking for the natural and holistic approach to things, which is the way that I do things. So everything that I do is without drugs or surgery.
That was amazing.
I don't
Um,
think I've ever shared all of that story with you.
wow, no. And it was just beautiful. Wow. And thank you for being so open and so raw with that. I know that that's a lot. Um, well, let me ask you this. What type of clients do you work with?
So I work with women who are struggling with low energy, exhaustion, being tired. I think about even at a point in my life when over 10 years ago, when I first got into functional medicine, I was exhausted all the time. I could easily go to a friend's house, sit down on the couch, and there I am asleep, end of the day, fall asleep, crash. And so exhaustion is a really big thing that's very close to my heart because it really impacts how we show up as mothers, how we show up as wives, how we show up in our careers, how we show up in love and everything. Just being able to do hobbies, really having energy is really important to me. So, exhaustion, women that come to me, they normally have some type of hormonal imbalance that is creating super heavy periods, something that I had struggled with before, very heavy, painful periods, irregular periods. Sometimes I have women that their periods come and then they disappear for a while. They're not there at all. Or they might just have spotting or um, brown discharge that comes. So, things that are related to menstrual cycle irregularities, women that are struggling with the symptoms of fibroids or endometriosis, PCOS is a big one. So, really, women that are struggling with a weight loss resistance. So, they have tried lots of things to lose weight and they've been dieting, they've been eating right, they may be working out, but they're not losing the weight that they desire to lose. So, dealing with that weight loss resistance is a big one as well. Women going through perimenopause, all the things that go with that, the moodiness, the hot flashes, um, the vaginal dryness, all of those different types of things. So, women that come to work with me are typically struggling with a lot of these hormonal imbalances. And they're also women who are typically high achieving women. They are women that have goals that are usually bigger than themselves. They're out to accomplish big things in life. And that may be with the people in their family, with their children, with their godchildren. It may be in their careers, but they're typically very smart women, and women that they're just up to big things. I use the word high achieving because I don't know a better word to use. But usually professional women that are really wanting to get to the root cause of their issues. So they're looking for more holistic approaches to things.
That's what brought me to you.
Yeah.
Um, Let me ask you, what happens if you haven't worked with someone who, say, has like my condition or the condition of the client that's talking to you?
Okay. So what happens if I haven't worked with someone like you're wondering, okay, I have this condition and you may not have worked with someone with that. What do you do? What happens? So one thing is for sure that I am very connected to various groups where I receive high level clinical training ongoing. And there's lots of resources there. So if I haven't worked with your condition, then I know where to go. And then also, if I haven't worked with your condition and then also I don't feel comfortable and it's outside of my area of expertise, then I'm going to help you find someone who can help you. So I'm not into wasting anyone's time or energy, and I know what I'm really good at, and that's what I like to work with. And if it's too far outside of that, then I'm definitely just going to find someone else that can help you with those types of issues. And we'll get into a little bit about how I um, find out exactly what's going on inside your body too, which is really, really important.
Yeah, I love the fact that you said that I'm going to help you find, if I'm not the person for you, I will help direct you to where you need to be. Because like a lot of the times too, they'll be like, "Oh, okay, I can help you," and they
Mm.
just leave you to kind of figure it out on your own. How are you different from, say, my regular doctor?
So one thing is, first of all, when it comes to traditional medicine, a lot of times, and I talked about this before, just my time that I had available before when I was in private practice. Now I'm virtual, so it's very different. So I meet with people all over the country and even the world, come to see me, and we do it all virtually. So a lot of things that I do, I'm a big advocate of testing, like test, don't guess. Let's find out exactly what's going on inside of your body. And some people are like, well, how do you get the testing to me? Well, we're able to just get everything shipped directly to your house, and you complete your whatever it is. If we're looking at saliva, if we're looking at hair samples, stool samples, different things. I do a lot more extensive testing. You're able to do that in the privacy and comfort of your own home. If we do need to draw any blood, we typically send someone to your house or find a local lab nearby where you're able to get that blood drawn. So it's super easy to handle things virtually. So I would say that's one thing, is that I'm able to meet with my clients virtually. The other thing is that when it comes to traditional medicine, I have lots of friends and colleagues that practice conventional medicine, and they are good people. Okay. I practice functional medicine, which is a little different. But I would say that most people became a doctor because they truly wanted to help people. But we have a healthcare crisis going on here in the United States and much of the world because a lot of people are suffering with chronic illnesses, and a lot of it does become lifestyle dependent. What are we doing in our lives? What's going on with our stress levels? What's going on with our nutrition, detoxification, our sleep, all of these things that are really important to people. But unfortunately, there's a few reasons why um, traditional medicine or conventional medicine is not typically able to help. One is a lot of doctors are stuck in an insurance model. And there's a couple things with that. So, insurance is created to basically, the doctor needs to find a diagnosis, diagnose you with something, and then provide you with perhaps a drug or a surgery. Okay. So they're in a model where they're looking to diagnose you with something. And when it comes to heart disease, when it comes to Alzheimer's, when it comes to diabetes, these are things that take time before you even get to a diagnosis. I often rattle off different stats about how long that takes, but oftentimes for a lot of these things, it's 10, 20, 30 years before you're actually receive a diagnosis. But there were things going on leading up to those the check engine light. So I always give this example. So let's say that the check engine light comes on in your car, right?
Mhm.
What are you going to do? You're going to go ahead, take your car to the mechanic, the expert, and that mechanic, you're expecting them to help you figure out what's going on, right? So imagine you take
Right.
your car into the mechanic, and then the mechanic comes out. He's like, okay, your check engine light came on. Okay, it came on last week. All right. So what I want you to do is I want you to take this sticker. Okay. And I want you to put this sticker right over that check engine light, and you won't have to worry about that thing anymore. That would be crazy. That would be crazy. We would never allow a mechanic to give us a sticker and put it over our check engine light, right? But for
No.
some reason, we do allow doctors to do that to us, okay? And it's not always done
Mm.
intentionally, but when we just do things to address the symptoms, that check engine light going off in our body, then that's all we're doing. We're just covering those things up, okay? And a lot of times people come to me and they're like, "Well, my doctor ran my labs and everything came back normal, but you don't feel normal. You don't feel good. Your body, you feel like crap a lot of times?" So there's something going on, and that's that check engine light going off, right? And we want to address those issues before you get to this stage of having a disease. Okay. I always say the word disease is like dis-ease. Okay. Your body is no longer at ease. Okay. And when you get to a disease, that's all that is a bunch of symptoms that have been grouped together. And you can now label it as a disease. You can bill insurance for it, and you can give a drug or a surgery for it. Okay. So
Mm.
that's one way that it's very different. Also, the insurance model kind of keeps a lot of my colleagues handcuffed, because that's how you get paid. So you have to operate within that model of healthcare, and you've got to see a lot of patients because insurance reimbursements have gone down significantly over the years, and you have to see more patients to continue. Whether it's the hospital or someone's in private practice, you've got to continue to see patients. Also, a lot of
Mm.
times, regular doctors have not received the training that they would need to really be able to get to the root cause of these issues. So, whether someone is a MD, DO, DC, um, a, um, what am I thinking? A pharmacist, all of us have gone back and we have learned functional medicine and studied it. extensively for hours post getting our doctoral degrees. Okay. So a lot of times, just the regular doctor has not done that. So they don't have the training on really how to address these issues from the root cause. And they also don't have the programs in place. Which take time. So we've got to spend time with people to really know what's going on in their health and in their life. And there's just not the time for it, and the ability to implement these programs. And again, a lot of times insurance does not cover these things. Insurance, Medicare, who sets the guidelines for all insurance companies, they literally have a quote that says that issues that are preventative, issues that, or not issues, programs, treatment that is preventative, if it's looking to prolong life, all of these things are deemed not medically necessary. So they're things that insurance is not going to pay for. So we're waiting on insurance to really kind of come in and save the day. We're gonna really be waiting a long time. So a lot of the times you had asked me about the women that work with me. They're women that are willing to invest in their health and advocate for themselves and do the things that need to be done to really take care of their 60-year-old self, their 90-year-old self. And I'm saying that most of the women that work with me are between the ages of 35 to 55 ish. But they're thinking about, okay, how am I going to be moving when I'm 60 or 70 or 80? What am I going to be able to do then? And what do I need to do for her?
That is 100% correct because that's how I felt. And so coming to you was a blessing
Oh.
to be able to set me on the path to my 90-year-old self.
Good, good.
So let me ask you then, what exactly is functional medicine and why does it matter?
So, functional medicine is where we're looking at the root cause of your health issues. Okay. So, we're not looking at, oh, you're tired. So go ahead and, oh, maybe you're low on B vitamins or iron. We're not guessing, first of all. But we're looking at the root cause of why these issues are showing up. So, just like that mechanic, we are opening up the hood, we're running diagnostic tests, and we're finding out, why is that check engine light going off? Okay. And oftentimes in functional medicine, we're looking at, um, your stress levels. We're looking at how the stress levels are affecting your hormones, and we're able to test those things throughout the day and see what's going on. That information oftentimes comes from your saliva. How many times have you been to your doctor and they've been like, yeah, let me get, let's check your saliva? That's usually not a routine thing to do at all. When it comes to your hormones, for me personally, and I can't say this for all functional medicine doctors, but for me, since hormones is my world that I work in, oftentimes, when you have your hormones tested, they're looking at your what's going on in your blood just that day that you came into the office. Maybe they, if you're lucky, they may look at things on day 3 of your cycle, or they may have you come in multiple times, but that's extremely rare. Very, very rare. Normally they're like, yeah, let's check your hormones today. And they check and they see what's going on. But our hormones change throughout the month. And specifically with estrogen, estrogen goes up during that first half of the month and it comes back down. And then progesterone, it goes up and then it comes back down. Okay. So we need to see, is it going up and down? Are they doing what they're supposed to do? So for me, I test throughout the month and see what's going on. And I actually test that in the urine, so that gives me so much more information about what is going on with your hormones, how they're metabolizing in your body. So, metabolize means like, how's your body using it and how is your body also getting rid of it? Because
Mm.
estrogen itself can actually be toxic if it's not moving down protective pathways. As it's metabolizing in your body. So it's important to be able to look at those types of things. Oftentimes, people may just take melatonin for sleep. Well, let's see what your melatonin levels look like, and let's really see, is that even the reason why you're not able to sleep? Is there something else going on with different hormones within your body? Is there something going on in your gut? There's various things. We can look at how you're digesting your food, how you're absorbing your food. Food sensitivities is a really popular thing that people like to look at as well. So, in toxins. That's huge as well. And looking at the toxins and what's going on inside of your body, and how heavy is that toxic load on you. I always think about the different stressors that people are dealing with. There's the physical, emotional stress, but then there's chemical stressors on the body. There's toxins. You could have biotoxins, so viruses, bacteria, parasites, fungus, mold that's living inside of you, environmental toxins, things from what we eat, the air we breathe, all of those types of things can be stressors on our body. And then just flat out having deficiencies too, and not having proper nutrient absorption, lacking sleep, oxygen, all of those things are stressors on the body. And what I do is basically think about if you were climbing up a mountain and you've got a book bag on your back. And as you're climbing, someone's coming along and they're putting a little mold in your backpack, big heavy boulder, a stressful work situation. They're coming in and they're putting in a vitamin D deficiency. They are coming in, and I'm saying life, all of those things, you're carrying all
Yeah.
these stressors up this mountain. It becomes harder and harder and harder. And then after a while, your body does. It spins out and goes into this disease status. And now you're showing up and you have PCOS, or you have endometriosis, or your weight loss resistance. You're going through perimenopause, and it's awful. It's not a smooth transition, and it can be a smooth transition for women, but most people are not living optimally. So we have normalized having bad periods, having hot flashes, being exhausted all the time. And those things are common, but they're not normal. So, as a functional medicine doctor, what I do is I look at the root cause of what's going on and kind of like, let's see what you got in your backpack there. Okay. Let's see what you're carrying around with you in your everyday life.
Then that brings me to, which you touched on just a little bit. What type of personality do you work best with? And what is expected of me, your potential client?
Yeah. So one thing is that we work together. Okay. So this is not a situation where, we're like, okay, go do this, go do that, eat less, move more. We're not, first of all, we're not giving out general things, but we're really looking at your life and we're working together. So for me, I work best with those who are committed to seeing results until the end. So one thing that we talk about jokingly about amongst my colleagues and with some of my clients is like, this is not a drive-through wellness hookup. Okay, so you're not just coming in and you're like, hey doc, can you run some tests on me and give me some supplements to take? And then you feel, most people do feel good pretty quickly, things start to change. But then if I were to work with people just looking for that, because we didn't actually address the underlying issues completely and fix it all the way, they come back. The issues come back, and I don't want you blaming me. But I also want you to be healthy, and I really want you to be able to resolve these issues. So the type of personality that I work best with, they're people that want to see it through to the end, and they really want to address those underlying causes and fix it. And they're typically someone who's positive, they're upbeat, they're hopeful, and they're really willing to put in the hard work.
Okay, sounds like me. No, I'm just kidding. um, what type of person should not consider functional medicine?
Someone who is looking for a quick fix should not consider functional medicine. Someone who's not looking to really address the underlying causes, meaning like if you're just looking for like, give me something for my headache, give me something for my low energy, give me some kind of quick fix to help me lose weight or make my periods, shorter and lighter and easier. I want to do all of those things, but I want to do it in a way that's sustainable for you so that you can get results and you can also keep results. So someone looking for a quick fix is not someone that should consider functional medicine or working with me. Someone who does not follow through. And that doesn't mean someone who needs accountability. So clearly, Angela is my accountability and support coach for my clients. And we know people need accountability. A lot of times people come to us because one, they're not able to do it on their own. They need to have a structured path to move through and a proven system and someone guiding them. So it doesn't mean you need accountability, but just in general, if you're like, you just don't follow through, probably not the best fit. Someone who doesn't follow instructions, not the best fit again. Um, those I would say are the main things of someone, and also someone who's addicted to their disease or their label. A lot of times there's groups of people, there may be PCOS or there's some kind of autoimmune group, and people start labeling themselves with these different diseases and diagnoses, and they almost get really attached to having it. They start finding their identity in that I have Hashimoto's or I'm ADHD or I have PCOS. And then they find community around that where other people are, labeling themselves this way. And, that's not the way I want to be labeled. I want to be healthy and strong and vibrant and full of life. So typically, the people that I work with best, going back to the previous question, are people that have that same mindset. And the ones that should not consider functional medicine or working with me are the ones that are super attached to those labels because we're going to get rid of those. But it's going to be hard if there's some type of, psychological desire or connection or something going on inside where you're just like, you kind of like having that label too. So I would not be the best fit for that type of person.
What is the name of your proprietary process?
The name of my proprietary process is the reset framework. And then within that, I teach about the hormone compass, which is our program. The hormone compass is your proven path to reset your hormones. And I take people through a 3-step process within there where we're really looking to discover what exactly is going on inside of your body. We optimize those areas and the different issues and things that are going on there. So, all about optimization and really getting women to a place where they're soaring, where they are no longer dependent on drugs or surgery. They are very confident and very secure and feel good about their health and their future.
Does this really work?
Yes. So I have worked with hundreds of women before, and really, you could be the next one. Okay. The listeners here can truly be the next one. So, what I have done is I have taken all of my life's work and knowledge and training. I have been trained by multiple doctors and scientists on what are the best things for women's hormones. And I have taken all of that and put it into our Hormone Compass program that literally leads women week by week, step by step on exactly what they need to do in their lives, in their health, with their nutrition, with detoxification, with sleep, with their stress, with their relationships, and how all of that ties into hormones and leads and guides them and takes them through the path to really being able to be truly healthy and truly vibrant and feeling good and just getting their life back. So, yes.
What results can I expect from working with you?
So you can expect to have your hormones reset. Okay. So, which is really important. Okay. A lot of women just need, okay, I need to just have a total reset for my life a lot of times. But you can expect more energy, regulated periods, balanced moods, those breakthroughs. Having those and those weight loss plateaus. A lot of women, they've tried different things and, they may have lost some weight and then they completely plateau. So being able to break through that weight loss resistance, these are some of the major things. Getting rid, when we talk about perimenopause, really being able to feel better throughout that process, more balanced moods, eliminating hot flashes, being able to sleep better at night. So those are some of the things that you can expect working with me. I also have to throw in because these are always like the funnest part of my job is what happens, all the unexpected things, and what happens in people's relationships as well. Because I'm all, as you know, this podcast is the whole and complete woman. So I'm all about health, wealth, love, career, all of those types of things. So we bring that into the program as well when it comes to love and relationships and family, all of those types of things. So, lots of great things is what can be expected when working with me.
I can tell you that's the truth. Can I, or me as the patient, can I contact some of your patients or clients to see what it's like to work with you?
So I cannot give out personal health information, contact information of my different clients unless they've given me their permission, which many of them have. So I do have clients that have given me their permission where you can contact them. I'd be happy to give that out to you. You can also check out reviews and testimonials that are on my website. Also on my YouTube channel, there are people have submitted video testimonials of what it's been like to work with me and their experience and the results that they have gotten as well. So those are all available on the World Wide Web, YouTube, and then yes, just reach out if to me if you want to speak to someone one on one. I can provide that information to you. I'm happy to give it.
I know this is a big question that people often have. How quickly can I expect the results?
How quickly can you respect or expect results? Okay, so first, this is different for everyone, okay? And it really depends on what you're coming to me about. But I want to be honest because I don't want to create this quick fix idea here. Okay. So oftentimes people feel good energy wise pretty quickly within a lot of times weeks. Sometimes even, first week we call, check in, how are you doing? And people are feeling a lot better. They're sleeping better, but we don't want to stop there. Okay. We want to create sustainable solutions for people. So, really, to look at resolving the issues and getting results 3 to 6 months, oftentimes up to a year. Our program's a year long because we really want to give people the time needed to receive our guidance and support, and then also to be able to really lock in these changes that they've made in their body. So healing is not a days or week kind of thing, okay? It is a month or years type of thing. And a lot of times, especially when we start getting into toxins and things like that, mercury crosses the blood brain barrier. And that may not be the case for some people, but it takes a long time. It takes, you know, years, not months, to be able to really detox from those types of things. But as far as feeling good, people start feeling good pretty quickly, okay? Oftentimes within weeks. But I just want to give you a point of reference. When your body regenerates cells, which it's always doing all the time, your body is going out and, for instance, if it sees a damaged cell, like a cancer cell, if everything's operating at its best within your body, then your body's going to see that. It's going to like eat it up and get rid of it, okay? So your body's always making new cells all the time. And when it comes to red blood cells in your body, it takes 4 months to regenerate, to go through an entire cycle to have all new blood cells within your body. With your skin, a lot of times that's 2 to 3 weeks. Okay. So that's how come when people start making changes with their nutrition, you'll see, oh, your skin is glowing, you'll notice those types of things. You lose 500 million skin cells daily. Okay, so your skin is always regenerating. Your intestines, so your gut, that's 2 to 4 weeks for that. In your ovaries too, which is its own has its own self-renewal system, that's anywhere from 3 to 4 weeks. So it does take time to regenerate these cells within your body. Because that's what we're doing. We're kind of like when you think about the car, let's say that check engine light came on, but that doctor may see, or that mechanic may see, oh, okay, we've actually got to like rebuild the engine here. Okay. She's been driving a long time. She hasn't been getting alignment. She hasn't been getting her oil changed. She hasn't been doing any maintenance, no shame, but I'm glad you're here now. Check engine lights on, and we've got to rebuild something. So it does vary for people. And like I said, it's 3 to 6 months, even up to a year for some.
Okay. How can I be confident that your program will work for me?
First, I've been doing it a really long time. Okay. I've been where you've been. Okay. So I have struggled with the heavy periods. I've struggled with being diagnosed with the PCOS. I've struggled with the low energy, the weight loss resistance, losing 40 pounds, gaining 40 pounds back. I've struggled with all of that throughout my life and I've made it to the other side. So you're not working with a doctor who hasn't been where you're at. And although I haven't been through everything, I've been through a lot. So, one, you can be confident that we're working with you to make sure that you're getting the results and that is our heart's desire. That is why I do what I do. I left a very, very high paying, very, very good career. Okay. And came and did this because this is the work that God has me doing in my life.
Amen.
So one, I am completely dedicated to you getting results. And two, people get results. Okay. So our clients report 2 times increase in happiness, 3 times increase in energy. They are losing weight. They are feeling good. Their relationships are changing. They're having reversal of diseases that they have. So some people, they do come to us and they have high blood pressure. They are already pre-diabetic or diabetic, and all of the signs and symptoms that come along with that, whether it's the belly fat, whether it's the low energy, whether it's the hormonal imbalances, those things are reversed in people's lives and they feel so much better. So our program is designed to get to the root cause. And one of the main things is the testing that we do with people. So I'm a big advocate of test, don't guess. Okay. We have the science and technology
Facts.
out there to find out exactly what's going on inside of your body. So I'm not guessing when I put protocols together for people. I'm not like, what should I do? And bringing together, case studies, which is nice. And, I'm a big advocate of research. I worked in the clinical research field for many, many, many years. And again, on very high profile studies. Um, so I know how to read research. I know how to do those things. But most importantly, I know how to apply it and apply it to the results that come back for people and really be able to put together customized and personalized protocols that work for them.
I believe it. I am a product. Will you put me on like a weird diet where I have to give up all my favorite foods? I think because people think, oh my God, she's going to take away everything from me.
Everything. We're going to cut it all out. All of it. So my biggest thing with protocols is for things to be sustainable. Okay? Because that's the only way you're able to really keep your results. And so I create protocols that are sustainable. My attempt is for them to work with your life. And also there may be some things that you have to give up for a period of time. The cookies and the Oreos and the McDonald's or whatever it may be, it's not helping those cells regenerate. Okay, so when we talk about red blood cells taking 4 months to regenerate or your intestines to take 2 to 4 weeks to regenerate, there are some things that we have to remove for a period of time so that healing can happen. And then also, what I notice is that there are things that sometimes some people may feel like I could never give this up. So, okay, we don't have to do that right now. Okay. So, it's all about you and your process. And what we find is sometimes there can be bacteria in your gut or imbalances going on with your gut that's literally causing you to crave sugar, or there could be things going on with your hormones where you don't have like dopamine coming in the way that it needs to come in, and you're needing that dopamine hit, and that may have you going for sugary or fatty foods, or there may be something going on with your adrenals where, yep, okay, I need something salty. That's literally a lot of times cravings are your body's sign that there's some type of deficiency going on in your body. So you're craving the cupcakes or the french fries or something sweet or the chocolate. And I love chocolate, but all of those things because your body's actually deficient in something else, whether it's a micronutrient or something specifically. So what we find is sometimes it's not good to just remove things that's can be detrimental, but we want to always make sure that we're replacing them with good things or putting those good things in first. And what we find is that people can naturally resist them, or not resist them, release them, because now they're like, oh, I don't even crave that anymore. That's always so fun when you're on a call with a client and they're like, oh, yeah, I haven't had that in so long, and it's almost like they completely forgot about it. So the program is not about restriction and just like removing all of the things that you love right now, but it is really teaching you how to have a good relationship with food, having a good relationship internally, like what's going on with your stress levels, and do I use food and those types of things to cope, or how am I responding? So we really teach about the triggers and the things that come up to really be able to help women be empowered. So I'm going to be honest. There may be some things that you do eliminate out of your life, but it will happen in a natural way, and it will be much easier to do it when you know what's going on inside of your body, when you're able to address those deficiencies and do those types of things.
Yeah, most definitely. I'm just going to speak a little bit from experience. Big soda drinker, not anymore.
Angela, when she came to me, she drank a lot of soda. And yeah, she doesn't even drink soda anymore. So, and
Yeah,
she's smiling about it. So,
yeah,
uh,
yeah,
we
yeah, yeah.
we definitely, I think that's one of the things, is working with people with where they are. We're meeting you where you are and taking you on this path and this journey to get you to where you want to be.
Definitely, definitely. Um, which then takes me to how long will it take me to feel better?
Well, I'm hoping this podcast has you feeling better already.
Right. Yes.
Yes. But really, that does vary for people. Okay. So how long will you feel better? That could be weeks. It could take some months. It depends on how long you've been dealing with the situations you're dealing with. It did not happen overnight. Okay. That check engine light pops on when it's like, hey, warning sign here, something's going on. And for some of you, you may be at a place where you're like, okay, I need to get this checked. I'm starting to not feel like myself anymore. Things are feeling a little off. My memory, I'm having brain fog. I'm not remembering things as well. Or, I'm just tired at the end of the day. And you're like, okay, let me get this checked out. Some of you guys may have already been to the doctor and they have given you, you left out with your prescription and your diagnosis, so it really it varies based on person to person. But we do want you to feel better. We do care about what's going on in your life and what's going on in your health. One thing I want to just speak to quickly, some of you guys may be wondering, what does it look like to work with me, or what does my program entail? So one of the first things that we do is we test and we find out exactly what's going on inside of your body. There's two foundational tests that I do that I think every woman should do. We do that inside of our Hormone Compass program. And then we also have options for some of the other advanced testing too. So depending on what you need, you may need a little bit more, but there's two foundational tests. And I say tests, they're not like two tests. There's your entire hormones, which is a whole battery of tests. And then there's all of our functional medicine blood work as well, which is a whole battery of tests. So we start there and then we move you through basically our proprietary process of where we're looking at the stress in your life. You're building new habits and routines. You're boosting your metabolism. You're detoxing properly. There's so much information out there about detoxification, but really, we want to be able to, when we go back to those cells and we talk about things regenerating, we want toxins get into the cells of your body. Toxin or cells are like the most granular level of like who we are as human beings. Okay, so our cells make up our tissues and our organs and all of those. The smallest going all the way down is going to be at a cellular level, and we want to be able to have healthy cells. So detoxing at a cellular level is what we do in our program, and then also just looking at and refining your health when it comes to your sleep, when it comes to your libido and your sex drive, all of the things. So that's kind of what our program entails, and that's what it would look like to work with us.
Do people ever continue working with you after their hormones are balanced and their health conditions are resolved?
Yes. So people often continue working with us on a maintenance basis, basically to help make sure that nutrients are in place. They've got everything needed for optimum health, gut health, antioxidants, hormone balance, all of those types of things. Because it continues to be a journey. So it's more on a maintenance basis. I am working on a longevity program that would be like a higher tier from our hormone compass, and also retreats. Those in the pipeline. I get requests all the time for me to put together like wellness, relaxation, health, retreats for women that are like for healing, not just in our bodies, but in our minds, our souls, all of those types of things. So that is in the
Absolutely.
pipeline as well. It's coming. But yes, women in general continue working with us on a maintenance basis.
Okay. Super important question. Do you accept credit cards? Is your credit card processor secure online?
Yes. So we do accept credit cards, and our credit card processor is completely secure online. We have to go through many, all the security checks and all of those things. And even our platform and software is super secure because everything for me is HIPAA compliance. I work um as a functional medicine health coach. And that allows me to work with women all over the world, but I also still make sure that everything's HIPAA compliant. All of your information is safe, it's private, it's confidential, and it's taken care of. So we do accept credit cards. We do accept HSA and FSA. And then, of course, what would be the other thing? Debit cards. So, the answer to your question is yes, we accept credit cards.
Um, so somebody would come to you and they say, I know I need to get my hormones under control. What is the next step to get started?
So the next step to get started would be to book a consultation. That's one of the fastest ways to be able to book a consultation with me. We sit down, it's a 90-minute consultation. So when we think about the amount of time that's often spent with someone who's a doctor, you're in and out pretty quick, 10, 15 minutes if you're lucky. But we're going to be together for 90 minutes. We talk about what's going on with your health. I have questionnaires. So it's probably the most comprehensive questionnaire that you've ever been given regarding your health. And it's not the typical questions because, again, I'm looking where other doctors don't. So I'll have you fill that out. We do a root cause analysis as well, and basically get you started that way. The other option would be, depending on when you're listening to this, would be to join one of my 5-day workshops. It would be to join one of my master classes or take one of my courses.
Well, that leads me to, what if a person is a little bit on the line and they're not sure if they're ready to get started? Is there, like, how can they work with you a little at a time to see if it's the right solution to them, for
Good
them?
question. Okay, so the person is not sure if they're ready to get started, but kind of like wants to work with me a little bit at the time. So
Yeah.
that would definitely be, I have free gift on my website. You can go to Dr. Alicia Gifts, and that will lead you to a free gift. So depending on when you're listening to this, it does change. But usually what I put there is something that's super resourceful, informative, provide strategies and resources for you to get started in your health. You can always watch one of our YouTube videos, listen to our podcast. I put tons of free information out there on all of my social media platforms, whether that's LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. So you can always look at those. You can take one of our courses. Um, those would be good starting points, I think. The Hormone Compass, beginning that program, that's going to be like your big leap. So I know before I said someone can start book a consultation, but I was thinking whenever you're listening to this, consultations may or may not be allowed, or not allowed, but available anymore. I don't plan to keep that open long term. But the just moving into the Hormone Compass program, that would be a big leap. But some of you guys are ready for that, and a lot of the women that I work with, they are, they're action takers, they're go-getters. They're like, okay, I'm ready, Dr. Alicia, let's go. But also some of the women that I work with, they need a little more time to think about things, very analytical. So starting with a free gift or consuming any of my hours of content that I have on social media would be a really great place to start. But I'm really trying to be able to focus all of my attention onto my Hormone Compass clients, um, and the things that they need. And we have all kinds of, that is all about community too. That's why I created that program. I know I didn't say that earlier, but the Hormone Compass, I used to work just one on one with clients, and then I was like, all my clients need to know each other, like they they would all get along so well. So that was a big thing with the Hormone Compass, not just like literally pouring all of my knowledge and training into this program so that women have easy access to it and the steps they need, but really creating community for women, because it's really important. When we create community, it produces oxytocin in our brain, which is like the feeling of love and connection. And I know just things have still been different ever since the pandemic. It's, they used to talk about the new normal. And, you know, I feel like some things went back, but some
Not
things
normal.
didn't. And for me, community is so important. There's been so many times in my life where I have felt so alone, and I don't want other women to feel that way, especially
Yeah,
moving through, your health journey. So the Hormone
I
Compass
agree.
program, like having community was a big, big piece of that. So back to the question you did ask though, that just came to me. Um, but just, if you're someone that you're like, okay, I'm ready to do this for myself, I do have a couple questions, additional questions, you can leave them right here in the chat. On whatever streaming service that you're listening to this on, you can DM me on Instagram as well. If it does turn into where I'm like, okay, we need to have a consultation, then we may need to do that. But if there's just a couple questions, I get it. Sometimes you may have a logistical question or things like that. Um, then you can do that. And then oftentimes, with my workshops, that's a great place to ask questions as well, my master classes. But yeah, just wherever I'm, wherever you're finding me in the world, send me a message. You can always email us at support at Body Wellness Institute at or .com. I was going to say at gmail.com, but support at bodywellnessinstitute.com. If you just have like just a couple more questions or logistical things that you want to be able to ask about. So I think
Well,
that's, yep, go ahead.
yeah, that was our last question. We did our 21 questions.
Love it, love it, love it. All right. Well, we hope that these questions were really helpful. We find that women oftentimes may have these questions, may not know me well enough to feel comfortable asking them. Or just maybe some of the questions you're like, I didn't even think about that, but that's a good question. And some of them are questions we get asked all the time. So putting this podcast together, this episode was specifically to really allow you to get those questions asked or answered, and those questions that you're kind of like, okay, you may be thinking but didn't want to ask. So I hope that this was very, very helpful for you. Thank you, Angela, so much for
Thank you.
your participation and just contributing to this episode and just being here to hold space and to be able to um, ask these questions. So I always ask all my podcast guests. So I'll still ask you. I know this version was a little different, but do you have any closing thoughts or reflections or anything that you'd like to share with our listeners?
So I just want to say to our listeners that working with Dr. Alicia and coming into the program, whichever, as it transforms, you're getting so much. And as we as we open up more to the program and you're able to meet more people who are like you and going through maybe not exactly the same things, but some of the same things, you know that you're not alone. So that you can have that person and meet those people that you can rely on, not just myself, your accountability person, and Dr. Alicia, who's amazing, and all the rest of our team, but other people that you're going to come in there and meet, and they're going to be able to be that support for you. And also take the step to do this for yourself, to take care of yourself so that you can be that sprightly 90-year-old and just feel great, because it's a wonderful thing for longevity, for yourself. Self-care, it's important.
I love that. And she did not know that I was going to ask her that
No, I
question
didn't.
at all. So I put her on the spot, but I just love Angela. She speaks from the heart and is so genuine. And she, we've had her on the podcast for her own, talking about her own journey and her health journey. So definitely check that out. I'm not sure when this one will be released, either before or after, but definitely listen to that. She has an incredible, incredible story. So glad to have her here. So glad to have her on my team. So thank you so much. So in general, when it comes to the podcast, if you'd like to hear more and you want to, our podcast is all about love, health, wealth, and career. I also bring on guest experts. We've got you covered. Okay. So if you're watching us on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or another streaming service, go ahead and follow us. You won't regret it. So it also really helps us out when you do that. Okay. So it gets the word out about the information we're sharing. It's also a way that you can really help other women. So one of my goals in starting this podcast was to really create that community, that same community that we talk about in the Hormone Compass. But let me just create it everywhere, we can. Community is so important. Connection is so important. So sharing this podcast, subscribing, liking, doing all the things, it really helps me in my own life mission. So I do ask that you share. And if there's anyone in your life that you may think may be a good fit for working with us, or maybe you may have already worked with us and you have friends or family that you'd like them to know more about the options that are available to them, send them this podcast to listen to. Send them this link. So thank you so much for listening.